Hello there and a very good evening. It's the 8th of October 2015. You're joining us live from our Newsfirst studio here in Colombo. I'm Sonali Vanigabadage.
Hello there, very good evening. I'm Zola Outskun. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Court permits the CID to conduct a DNA profile on the father of Seya Sadeumi. Fundamental rights petition filed by DEW Gunasekara challenging the national list dismissed. Journalists questioned the cabinet spokesperson over the intervention of a minister in the investigations over avant-garde. Rosisen Anayaka files petition seeking a recount of votes.
Starting off your news tonight, the conferring of Vishishta Seva Vibhushana Decoration Medal by President Maithripala Sirisena took place this morning during a ceremony at the Presidential Secretariat.
Vishishta Seva Vibhushana Decoration Medal is conferred on senior officers of the regular forces of the Army, Navy and Air Force in recognition of their exceptional service. The decoration medal was awarded to 30 active and retired officers of the three armed forces. Commander of the Army, Lieutenant General Krishanta De Silva, Commander of the Navy, Vice Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratna and Sri Lanka Air Force Commander, Air Marshal Gagan Bulat Sinhala were conferred with a VSV Decoration Medal.
RSP, USP, NPS.
In news from the Parliament, a tense situation was reported in Parliament when MP Dinesh Gunawardena attempted to raise a question on the transfers of Central Bank employees under Standing Order 17.
The Speaker is present today. Allow me to table this document. This is a serious matter. Over 200 have been transferred.
The party leaders' meeting took place. You could have mentioned it there. Speaker, this is unfair.
An opportunity is not granted to inquire into the issues surrounding the finances, and if personnel connected to the transaction are transferred, there needs to be provision to raise questions in this Parliament.
Did or did not the Speaker announce a decision?
Parliament will be adjourned for 10 minutes. MP Dinesh Gunawardena will be granted an opportunity to make a statement on this. Senior board members and senior officers of the Central Bank have been transferred in an arbitrary manner. Because of this, it has become impossible to carry out efficient tasks at the Central Bank. This chamber proposes that the government suspend all transfers made after the parliament elections.
A large number were transferred because they were in those positions for over 5 years. The issue is, how did they remain there for more than 5 years? There is the hedging deal. You were defeated. You are freeloaders. This is shameful. They went and pleaded from the president to permit them to speak against the government.
අනේ ජනාධිපතිතුමනි අපි ඉඳලා හිටලා ඉඩ දෙන්නකො මේ ආණ්ඩුවට විරුද්ධව කතා කරන්න කියලා. කොහොමද කිව්වේ? පිනට ආවේ අය මෙතන.
You have no party. You are like gypsies.
පිනට ආවේ මිනිස්සු පක්ෂයක් නැහැ. අහිතුන්ටගේ වාගේ යන්නේ.
The Criminal Investigations Department has sought the assistance of the general public to obtain information over the assassination of senior journalist Lasantha Wickramatunge.
A communique issued by the police headquarters states that an investigation team from the CID will be carrying out the investigation over the assassination. The police headquarters request the public to call the following numbers if anyone has any information on the assassination. The numbers are 071 859 1753, 071 859 1770. That number once again, 071 859 1753, 071 859 1770.
The 200th edition of Newsfirst Classroom Workshop, conducted with the objective of enhancing media literacy of students, was launched at the Nivantaka Chethiya College in Anuradhapura today.
The Newsfirst Classroom Workshop, which was successful in conducting a series of workshops, was organized to uplift the capability of students in terms of leadership and communication. Efforts to enhance the knowledge and understanding in the field of media to students from all walks of life was done with the use of modern methodology to introduce the students to innovative and unconventional methods of media and journalism. The workshop, which was conducted at the Nivantaka Chethiya College in Anuradhapura, today saw the participation of a number of neighbouring schools as well. The workshop saw the active participation of students. The significance of the workshop was that the students were granted the opportunity to do a voice test to be the next voice of YFM. 10 students were selected following the auditions. This program was a new experience for the students as well as the teachers. Cirrus is an organization which conducts programs like Gammatha and different sports programs on behalf of the children of this country. If there is something new, it is initiated by Cirrus. After Cirrus introduces something, then we get to see it on other media institutions. We see this as a tremendous task that you do by reporting on events at a national platform and on an international arena and providing us an understanding on the unique role. This initiative undertaken by Newsfirst by arriving at our school is of great value to us. We are very lucky to celebrate the 200th edition of the workshop at our school.
I understood the procedures behind news. This is a good workshop.
School students and teachers who were invited also expressed their views on the workshop.
Our children were not aware that so much knowledge could have been gained through a workshop, but that suspicion was taken away following the workshop conducted by Sirasa. I thank Sirasa on behalf of the students of my school for making us realize that what we see in the exterior is not what is beneath the surface. I believe this gave the students a great wealth of knowledge regarding media education. We thank the Sirius Media Network for bringing together the entire Anuradhapura district to the school.
The ceremony to mark the 200th Newsfirst Classroom Workshop will get underway in Anuradhapura tomorrow.
Still in local news, the Minuwangoda Magistrates Court today informed to conduct a DNA profile on the father of Seya Sadeumi over the child's murder. Court granted permission following a request made by the CID, and the father of Seya Sadeumi had also granted his consent for the DNA test. The complaint that was filed with the Human Rights Commission, citing that the fundamental rights of the schoolboy and the other individual who were initially arrested and later discharged was also taken up today.
A preliminary investigation was carried out on the complaint filed by the Ceylon Teachers Union and the 17-year-old schoolboy. The OIC of the Kotadeniyawa Police, several officers from the police department, officers from the National Child Protection Authority and the complainants were summoned to the commission today.
When Kalumatanaka was arrested, it said that he had cut his hair. This was mentioned after the murder. Seya disappeared on the 12th and Kalumatanaka cut his hair on the 15th. The arrest was made on the 16th of September. However, the OIC of the Kotadeniyawa police said before the commission that the arrest was made at 11 in the night on the 18th of September. Where was the child from the 16th to the 18th of September?
සැප්තැම්බර් 16 වෙනිදා උදේ ඉඳලා සැප්තැම්බර් 18 වෙනිදා රෑ 11 වෙනකන් මේ දරුවා කොහෙද හිටියේ කියන එක.
The preliminary investigation was carried out today. Afterwards, a decision was made to conduct an investigation headed by the chairman of the Human Rights Commission.
We were severely inconvenienced and under pressure. We couldn't even travel anywhere. We had to cover our faces.
The injustice that we faced could be faced by others as well. We hope that action will be taken so that such injustice will not take place again.
I
hope that action will be taken in a manner where innocent persons like us would not have to face such situations in this country again. The IGP has launched an investigation. 3 facts will be taken into consideration during this investigation. One is to inquire over the credible evidence that led to the arrest of the schoolboy. Other is where they assaulted. Police cannot assault anyone. The third is he had made a complaint that his possessions were taken away.
The campaign titled For Our Children, to ensure the protection of children and build a better future for the future prospect of the island, received a great response from the public. People joined hands in many areas to ensure that the message is passed on. Now, this island-wide awareness campaign organized by Newsfirst together with the Ministry of Law and Order and Prison Reforms entered its 4th day today.
For Our Children.
The island-wide awareness campaign to ensure the protection of children commenced from the north and the south of the country on the 5th of this month. The campaign, which was inaugurated from the south, commenced today's journey by creating awareness among the people of Bibila and Madagama. The Newsfirst team visited the Sri Piyaratana Primary School in Nagala, Bibila and created awareness on child protection in a bid to spread the message across to children, parents and teachers. The students of this school who viewed the campaign on television managed to put it into art form and handed it over to the teachers. There are several ways that children can be deemed insecure. Children of parents who consume alcohol and drugs are always insecure. Similarly, the children whose parents are abroad are insecure. Children of parents having illicit affairs are highly insecure. How many of us actually consider these? As adults, we must be more concerned about the security of our children.
We must make them feel loved from a very small age. We must also listen to the problems faced by our children.
The Newsfirst team, which arrived at the Obbegoda Secondary School in Monragala, created awareness among students with the aid of several activities. The awareness campaign was then conducted at the Mayangane main bus stand this afternoon. The Mayangane and Badulla police officers joined hands in this endeavour. Meanwhile, the campaign, which was inaugurated from the south, commenced its journey at the Mana main bus stop. Government officers and police officials of the area joined in the endeavour. Subsequently, the team set off to the Pesale area on the door-to-door awareness campaign. Subsequent to creating awareness among the people of the Murugan area, the campaign successfully concluded its 4th day. To report crimes against children, dial 1929 immediately.
For Our Children, an island-wide awareness program to ensure the protection of children. The campaign will arrive in Kandy on the 9th of October at 9 a.m. Peradeniya Botanical Gardens at 12 noon and Katukastoda and Horopathana at 4 p.m. Organized by Newsfirst, Sirasa, Shakti and the Ministry of Law and Order and Prison Reforms.
This could be your child. Let's protect them. For our children.
Acting Minister of Finance Lakshman Yapa Abewadana provided an explanation over the newspaper reports that were published over the President's expenditure.
අද දින සහ ඊයේ
In yesterday's and today's newspapers, articles were published over the estimate that was presented to Parliament on the President's expenses for his official residence and vehicles. This has been interpreted that a large sum of money had been allocated. I need to make this clear. The expenses allocated for the Presidential Secretariat for the years 2015, 2014 and 13 have been cut down by 6 billion rupees. The expenses that were at 10 billion rupees were brought down to 4 billion rupees. The expenses for the President since January to August this year is at 1.5 billion rupees. After this President was appointed, the expenses have been cut down by almost 50%.
ජනාධිපති කාර්යයන් සඳහා අඩු කරලා තියෙනවා මේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ආවට පස්සේ.
Journalists raised questions at a media briefing on the cabinet decision on the Geneva resolution.
ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ඉන්න කාලේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉල්ලුවේ international probe.
During President Mahinda Rajapaksa's tenure, they asked for an international probe. At that time, it was under international law. But now they have allowed to initiate the probe under the Sri Lankan judicial mechanism. They will only participate in the process. Their participation may be in the form of investigators or even technical support. And it is clearly stated that in the 20th section of this, that they would only provide assistance after they engage in discussions with the Sri Lankan government and will only commence extending their advisory and technological support after the state has approved it. That means all 19 will only be initiated on the grounds of receiving approval by the Sri Lankan government. Therefore, we are the deciders on how we want international assistance and in what way we want it.
Journalists also questioned about Prime Minister's tour of Japan.
Who else has received the opportunity to address the Japanese parliament like that? That wasn't a parliament. Wasn't that more of a committee room? Only the council members were not present, but everything else took place. When it is a parliament, we know that there is a speaker. He must have also been there seated in the front. But wasn't it in a separate room? I agree. So you mean to say that it was a Japanese committee room, not the parliament?
Journalists also questioned the cabinet spokesperson on the seizure of another vehicle with weapons, which was owned by Avantgarde.
As the government, the President has taken serious measures. Instructions have been given to take all legal action as per the country's laws. They said that there were no weapons, but then it was inspected. There were weapons. This is illegal. I'm not sure if there is a provision to use weapons without the knowing of the government. The Aegis Department says it is civil and not criminal. We will have to seek a determination.
ලංකාවේ ක්‍රිමිනල් මොනවද කියලා ඊට පස්සේ අර්ථකථනයක් කරන්නට වෙනවා.
No minister has appeared on behalf of Avantgarde. Involved is one thing, appearing on behalf is another. No, there is no need to do so. Although he is involved, he has not appeared on behalf of them. He is not in that company. He may have a friendship. Now, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party commented on the Geneva resolution at a media briefing convened today. When the leader of the government says that we have taken steps for a good journey ahead, the ambassador of Geneva knows that this is Sri Lanka. We can trust them. We can then believe the president of this country. That's because the leader of that country has said so. That's the reason why I'm saying that our president has made the most of this opportunity. We have to be proud about that. It comes with recognition. If the Tamil Net, Chief Minister Jayalalitha, former Chief Minister Karunanidhi says that they regret this resolution and that this resolution is biased towards Sri Lanka, it presents a problem to us. Therefore, we can certainly prove that this proposal is in favour of us. The main reason for that president to go for an election 2 years before was the Geneva Human Rights Convention in March. Though the country spoke about various things, his main ambition was to obtain the people's mandate and with fortitude reject the proposal of the United Nations Human Rights Commission in March. That was what he hoped to do. But the fate awaits the country that acted in such a manner as seen before us. This was how Saddam Hussein behaved. This is how Gaddafi and Libya behaved. In the end, what happened to these countries?
ලිබියාවේ ගඩාපි හැසිරුනේ අවසානයේ රටවල මොකක්ද උනේ
අද මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන ජනාධිපතිතුමා
President Maithripala Sirisena is not new to approach this issue. When the country's terrorism ended, he was the acting defense minister. He has a clear understanding of this. Therefore, it must be made very clear that he and the government will not in any way, in the domestic mechanism adopted, harm the soldiers or political leaders who led the battle.
මේ රාජ්‍ය තුලින් ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක.
The petition filed by former Minister Rosie Senanayake seeking a recount of the preferential votes of the Colombo district at the recently concluded general election was taken up at the Supreme Court.
The petition was considered by a bench comprising Supreme Court Justices Bhuvanaka Aluvihara, Priyantha Jayawardena and Anil Gunaratne. Former Minister Rosie Senanayake has requested court to issue an order compelling the Elections Commissioner to order a recount of the preferential votes at the recently concluded general elections. Attorney at Law, President's Counsel Faisal Mustafa noted that Rosie Senanayake has expressed confidence that she clinched victory at the general elections. Notices were issued on the respondents to appear in court on the 30th of November. Deputy Solicitor General Nerin Pulle accepted notice on behalf of the Elections Commissioner.
I asked for a recount of the votes based on the request made by those who voted for me and had a great deal of faith in me. As human beings, it is possible for state sector employees who worked without sleep for 36 hours to have made a small mistake. That feeling of a mistake having been made is there. I am requesting a recount of the preferential votes in order to achieve justice, both for myself and for those who had a great deal of faith in me.
The fundamental rights petition filed by the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Sri Lanka, D.E.W. Gunasekara, against the failure to nominate him to Parliament from the national list was dismissed today. The petition was dismissed when it was taken up before a bench comprising of Chief Justice Kesri Pavan and Justices Sisiradi Abru and Anil Gunaratne.
The Supreme Court dismissed the petition, citing that there was no legal basis to proceed with the petition. The Supreme Court added that MPs have been appointed to Parliament from the national list in accordance with Article 14 of the Constitution. Supreme Court also added that as the national list MPs have already been appointed, according to the existing laws, it cannot be challenged at this time. The Supreme Court added that according to Article 120 of the Constitution, court cannot change a law passed by Parliament and it can only be changed by Parliament. It added that as this refers to a law passed in 1988, it could have only been challenged through a fundamental rights petition a month after the bill was passed and cannot now be challenged.
In business news tonight, Acting Minister of Finance Lakshman Abewardena said that the basis on which the value of certain motor vehicles is calculated has been changed as the previous system caused massive losses to the government. The Vehicle Importers Association of Sri Lanka said that the new system would see the prices of Japanese vehicles soar by 700,000 to 1.8 million rupees. The government announced the new system of valuation on imported vehicles through special gazette notification bearing number 1933/16.
The tax will be calculated from the 1st of October. The prices of the vehicles with a lot of options have been released because those vehicles on the roads have increased. There is no major effect on the vehicles from India and China. The valuation will be the same despite of the option issue. There will be no major increase on those vehicles.
Acting Minister of Finance Lakshman Abewardena also elaborated on the reasons for the new system of valuation to be introduced.
This decision was made citing the revenue of the country. During the valuations, there have been major discrepancies when importing vehicles to the country. For example, a full option vehicle will be imported and the valuation will be taken for a vehicle with less options. They undervalue the vehicle. We have informed to value the vehicles on the full option basis. We believe that the country will be able to generate a greater revenue in the future.
Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa was summoned before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to investigate and inquire into serious acts of fraud, corruption and abuse of power today.
According to Lassel de Silva, Secretary to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry, former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa was summoned to record evidence over the use of employees at Rakna Arakshaka Lanka for election propaganda activities. He added that the 3 accountants from Rakna Arakshaka Lanka were questioned for 3 hours.
A preliminary discussion on programs implemented by provincial councils and local government bodies for the year 2015 took place today in Colombo.
The discussion was presided over by the Minister of Provincial Councils and Local Government, Faisal Mustafa. Some local government institutions have been dissolved. Former local government politicians are saying that the government officials are operating in an autocratic manner. The government officials report to us saying that they are being put under pressure. How do we resolve this issue? If officials from the ministry have been threatened, the ministry is prepared to respond to those threats. We have a responsibility to provide resources to the local government bodies to make short-term changes before the end of the year.
The Russian Defense Ministry said that 4 of its warships in the Caspian Sea launched 26 rockets at Islamic State in Syria, which hit their targets earlier in the day, a sign of its new military reach.
Starting off with some sports news. Georgia overcame an error-strong performance on squeeze past Zambia 17-16 in their last Rugby World Cup game and took a giant stride towards automatic qualification for the 2015 tournament. Meanwhile, the Springboks defeated the US 64-0 in a Pool B encounter played at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park Stadium in London. Back to some local news this evening. The 36 sessions of the Northern Provincial Council took place today. Joint Needs Assessment Advisor role and the United Nations appointed by the Chief Minister led to a debate in the Northern Provincial Council.
As former councillor Angajan Ramanathan has been elected to Parliament, Sivakulandu Agiladash was appointed to the council seat left vacant by him. Joint Needs Assessment Advisor role under the United Nations appointed by the Chief Minister came under questioning by the opposition leader of the council. You have named the Joint Needs Assessment Advisor role under the United Nations. This is wrong. According to this appointment, it is clear that you are working for the needs of the central government. You need to be informed on the fund to build peace through the Foreign Ministry of the Sri Lankan government. I need an explanation on this matter. Did you get an answer from the UN Permanent Representative? On these mentioned days, the statements that you made are wrong. What answer will you provide to the allegations made against you? I cannot comment on wrong matters. I have not committed any wrong. For the first time, the UN Permanent Representative has commented on the Northern Provincial Council in 2003. I requested for a full report on this matter. Thereby, I was questioned about a person who knows the area and administration. Thereby, I selected a candidate and I informed him about that candidate. I will tell his name later. Then when I met with the President and discussed this matter, he said that there was no issue on the appointment and informed me to tell him to seek dual citizenship and the Treasury to proceed further.
That wraps up Primetime News for tonight. I'm Sonali Baduge.
I'm Jalal Skun. Take care. Good night.